Welcome to another tale, dear viewer. Step into my shadowy gallery where art meets the unknown. Tonight, I present you with The Portrait of Shadows. Are you brave enough to stay until the final stroke? Let us begin. Art. It is the language of the soul, a pure creation birthed from the depths of human emotion. But what if I told you that some creations capture more than imagination? Some art holds the whispers of things unseen, things better left undisturbed. This tale begins in the cluttered world of Adrian Vale, a recluse painter whose works were simultaneously mesmerizing and unsettling. His canvases elicited awe, fear, and an unnerving sense that one was being watched. Adrian's studio was hidden deep in the city, amidst winding alleys cloaked in perpetual twilight. But what made Adrian unique wasn't his skill with a brush, it was the source of his inspiration. Every night, as the city sprawled into a restless slumber, Adrian would sit in front of a blank canvas. He never planned his works. In fact, he claimed the paintings revealed themselves to him, as if another entity guided his hand. And oh, how the colors sang beneath his touch, vivid hues that seemed to pulse with life. But recently, something changed. Adrian's works became darker, more sinister. They began to show faces, familiar faces, faces of people who soon after would vanish. When the first disappearance was reported, no one linked it to Adrian. He was invisible to the world, a phantom artist. But when gallery owner Victoria Seal held a secret exhibition of Adrian's macabre masterpieces, the guests froze in collective horror. For each portrait seemed to scream of agony and despair. The most chilling part? Each face belonged to someone who had gone missing. Amongst the crowd was a journalist named Laura Heath, driven by curiosity and the unrelenting need to expose the truth. She confronted Victoria after the unveiling. "Where did these paintings come from? Who is your artist?" Victoria, pale and trembling, whispered the painter's name, sounding as if the words themselves carried a curse. Adrian Vale. Now, Laura wasn't superstitious. She didn't believe in ghosts, curses, or things that go bump in the night. But something about those paintings lingered in her mind like a toxin. Determined, she hunted down Adrian's studio, finding it unbecoming from the outside, its windows boarded, an entrance draped by a tattered curtain. A faint glow of candlelight seeped through the cracks. Inside, Adrian sat before his latest portrait. His face was gaunt, his eyes sunken, but his brush moved with feverish purpose, as if controlled by an unseen force. Laura's arrival startled him. He almost dropped his palette, splattering red paint, or was it paint, onto the studio floor. "You've come," Adrian murmured, his voice a blend of relief and panic. Before Laura could question him, he stood abruptly and unveiled the canvas in progress. Her breath caught, her stomach churned. There, staring back at her, was a portrait of herself. Her features were perfect, the detail painstakingly accurate, the eyes holding a depth of sorrow she didn't recognize. But it wasn't her alive. Oh no. The image depicted her in anguish, gray veins etched like cracks beneath her pallid skin. It reeked of death. What is this?" she stammered, stepping back. Adrian's response was chilling. "It's the truth of who you'll become." According to him, his brush had been cursed long ago, tainted by a force beyond comprehension. Every portrait he painted predicted death, a death he could neither prevent nor control. "You don't understand," Adrian pleaded. "I've tried to stop. I've sealed myself away. But the brush, it demands I continue. It shows me things no one should see." He threw the brush into the corner of the room in disgust, its metal surface gleaming even in the dim light, almost as though it were alive. Laura, torn between fear and skepticism, didn't know whether to pity him or call the whole ordeal ludicrous. But something stopped her from fleeing. Curiosity, pride, fate, perhaps all three. Hours passed, and Adrian revealed more secrets about his trade, about voices that whispered in his dreams, using his hand as a mere vessel. As the clock struck midnight, deathly wails echoed from the wrought iron brush, and the incomplete portrait on the easel seemed to shift, its painted eyes following Laura. She couldn't take it. Grabbing the brush from the corner, she hurled it against the wall. It clattered with an unceremonious thud, unassuming now. But Adrian screamed, collapsing to his knees. Paintings fluttered from their positions, as though cosmic energy had been disturbed. "You can't escape your fate!" he bellowed, his voice soaked in otherworldly textures. "It doesn't let you. It never lets you." In her panic, Laura fled. Yet Adrian's prophecy clung to her like a shadow, and days later, her reflection in mirrors began to twist. First subtle, then grotesque, matching the painting exactly. That fateful night, her phone buzzed. A headline. Adrian Vale, found dead in a fire, his cursed brush missing from the evidence. The nightmarish brush she'd hurled, now unaccounted for. Weeks went by before Laura disappeared entirely. They found her home empty except for a single canvas at its center, a self-portrait so vivid that it seemed to breathe. Yet no artist ever signed their name at the bottom. So, my dear viewer, I ask you, the next time you stand mesmerized by an extraordinary painting, do you dare to wonder what it truly captures? Perhaps not just light and shadow, but something much deeper, something waiting behind the veil. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your soul protected.